Today we're going to talk about two different types of parent functions, and the one we're going to start with is our linear parent function. Our linear parent function is a straight line. It's always positive, and it has to pass through our origin of 0, 0. The equation of this line is y equals x, the simplest form of the equation. The second parent function we're going to look at is our quadratic parent function. Our quadratic parent function makes a U shape called a parabola. Again, it is always positive, and it must pass through the origin. The equation for our quadratic parent function is y equals x squared. Now let's use these two parent functions to determine whether the following equations are going to be related to a linear parent function or a quadratic parent function. The first equation I want to look at is y equals 2x. Looking at this equation, there is no x squared, it's just a regular x, so it should become a linear function when we graph it. Okay, so if we make a little table for this function, at 0, if we plug in 0 for x, we're going to get 0 for y. If we plug in 1 for x, we'll get 2 for y. If you plug in 2 for x, you get 4 for y. Now let's go ahead and plot those points on our graph. After you plug in your points, go ahead and draw your line, and you should see that you have a linear graph related to our linear parent function. Now let's look at the equation y equals 3x squared plus 1. If you notice, this time we have an x squared, so therefore our graph should be a quadratic, which means it's going to be a U shape or a parabola. If we go ahead and plug in some values for x, let's start with the same values that we used on the linear, 0, 1, and 2 for x. If you plug in 0, you're going to get 1. If you plug in 1, you will get 4. If you plug in 2, you will get 13. Now notice 213 is going to fall off the graph, so go ahead and graph the other 2. And let's go ahead and throw in -1 in there. If I plug in -1, I'm going to get 4 again. So go ahead and plot those 3 points. After plotting those 3 points, go ahead and connect them. You should have a U-shaped graph because it mirrors on both sides, which is why the 4 repeated for 1 and -1. This is our U shape, which is related to our quadratic parent function.